Hi students, time for us to have a little help with one of our practice problems. So I'm in Unit 2, Lesson 2, and we're looking at specifically problem number 4. Now this one talks about the open top box that we've seen in our actual lesson, lessons 1 and 2 of this unit so far, and talking about the volume of this box. And since it's a volume of a three-dimensional object, we have three terms because there's a length, a width, and a height to this open top box. And to get the volume, we'd have to multiply all those together. Now the instructions ask us to expand this, right? To rewrite this equation by expanding the polynomial. And so you might not remember what that means because it was something you learned back in Algebra 1, and we're going to bring it back up here in Algebra 2 and use it pretty consistently for a lot of the rest of the year. And so when we're talking about expanding it, it means instead of having these three separate terms, we want to multiply those terms together until we have it in what's called standard form. Standard form looks something like this, where you would have a number times x raised to a degree, in this case degree 4, the fourth exponent here. So you have a number times x to the fourth plus or minus another number x to the third and plus or minus x squared if we have it. So it's where we're writing them out like this, but they're not being multiplied together like we're seeing down below. So in order for us to actually multiply these things, students tend to find the easiest way to do that and track it by using this grid method that we have used in the past. So if I need to multiply these, I want to make sure I'm multiplying every number by every other number. All right, and we work in pairs when we do this. There's no real great way to work three-dimensionally because we have three terms here, and if you have four, it gets really super complex, so we're just going to do two at a time. So we're going to multiply 7 minus 2x by 5 minus 2x. Now I'm going to write either term across the top and the other term down the side here. All right, and then we're going to multiply them together. So I'm going to make this grid box going on down here to help me track it, so I can remember what I'm multiplying together in each step. So that's going to probably not be a great color. My first box here that I see is telling me I need to multiply 5 by 7. It's like finding the area of that little that rectangle, that top cell. So 5 times 7 is 35. And again, if you're using this kind of arcing method, that's the multiplication we just did there. And then working in the top right corner here, I would have 5 times a negative 2x. So that we're doing this multiplication here between these two terms. A positive 5 times a negative 2x. Positive times negative is a negative number. 5 times 2 is 10. And we just have a single x going on there, so we just have a single x in that box. Now working in our second set of terms that we have, we're looking at negative 2x times 7. So this one is doing this multiplication with that rainbow arc. So negative 2x times a positive 7 would be a negative 14x. And last but not least, let's see, we've multiplied those together. We have to multiply these two together. Negative 2x times a negative 2x. Negative times negative is a positive. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. All right. So we have all of our multiplications done, and our next step is then to find like terms that we can combine together. So most of the time when you set these up this way, you're going to find them here in the diagonals. So I can add negative 10x and negative 14x because they just both have a single x in them, not an x squared and not just a constant. So I'm going to combine those together, and I'm going to try to get it in order that we have up here, like in our standard form with the highest degree first. So I'm going to rewrite these now, combining together what I can. I see I have a 4x squared. And then I need to combine my negative 10x and my negative 14x. When I add two negative numbers together, I get an even bigger negative number, so negative 24x. And I have a positive 35, that's the constant, so oops, let's make that a 3, not a 2. All right. So I multiplied them out here. I combined like terms that I could write then here in standard form, but I still have one last step. Because don't forget, we had this other x that we needed to multiply by, a third term that we're going to multiply by. So we're going to take all of this result that we got from our first two terms multiplied together and multiply everything by x. So this means that this x is going to distribute to everything inside here. All that that does is changes the degree of each of these terms, raises the exponent by 1. So I would have 4x to the third minus 24x squared plus 35x. And that is our final answer. I'm going to box it in. That's our big final answer because that's what we've done to expand the polynomial. So a couple steps in doing this. We first multiplied two terms together, took that resulting term and multiplied it by a third term. And if you had a fourth term, you could do another step with that where you would multiply that again by your fourth term, and we could do it as many times as we need to. Hope that was a nice quick refresher for you. Nice quick way to keep track of your multiplication so you make sure everything's getting multiplied and getting to that right answer. Thanks.